And I promised you at the beginning of the show just a couple of minutes ago that we were going to take care of your eyes. We were going to particularly concentrate on those eyes that may be candidates for macular degeneration. And we're doing that as a part of our regular series, Arizona Doctors for Your Eyes, the Arizona doctors that we have here on a weekly basis taking care of all kinds of conditions that could affect your sight. And we're doing it today with Dr. Anita Shadlu and Dr. Gary Morgan. We welcome you both, most particularly for those people who are asking the same thing that I ask, and that is, so what is macular degeneration? Could we start with that?
Absolutely. Well, macular degeneration, or AMD, we can abbreviate, is the most common cause of blindness in people over the age of 55 in North America and Europe. It's actually more common than breast cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and dementia combined.
Why not Asia?
It tends to happen in Caucasians, some probably to do with pigmentation.
Interesting. And so how do I know if there is an onset in my family, me or any relative?
Well, first thing that it starts with is an eye exam. Early signs of macular degeneration can be detected long before we see any vision loss in patients.
But can I detect, can I find that there's something's going wrong that could be macular degeneration that would take me to the eye doctor?
Well, hopefully you'll go to the eye doctor before if you have any vision problems. But, you know, macular degeneration, there are two forms of the disease. There's the dry form and the wet form. Everybody starts out with the dry form, which is the less serious form that, again, may not have any effect on vision initially. However, if you catch it early, a lot of times you can either slow down the progression or stop the progression or stop the disease altogether with proper treatment. Now, in the past, patients that had dry macular degeneration, even mild forms, we didn't know which of those patients were going to advance to the wet form of the disease. But now we know that your DNA may actually provide the answer to that.
Now, we're talking about something that is that common, at least among Caucasians, you said in America and Europe. How common?
Well, it affects up to 1 in 5 families. So it's very, very common. And most patients don't even know they have the progressive form until it's too late, until they've lost vision. So like Dr. Morgan was saying, it's very important to get into the eye doctor and get that eye exam.
But other than visiting good folks like you, is there any kind of preventative intervention that we can practice ourselves?
Well, lifestyle modifications are very important.
What does that mean?
So healthy diet, lots of colorful green leafy vegetables, colorful fruits, not smoking. That's
Excuse
a big
me
one.
just a second. This is the point on every interview, no matter what we're talking about. I get to look at the camera and say, don't smoke. Okay, I'm not doing this. I'm just saying this is another reason. Macular degeneration, I can't tell you how few people who smoke right now ever think that it could possibly have any effect on their eyesight.
Exactly.
And it does consistently.
Yes, smoking is one of the risk factors that's found to be very, very significant.
Tell me about the benefits of finding out early that you may be at least early on, with the risk of progressive macular degeneration.
Well, you know, we now have a new DNA test called Macular Risk that can determine who is at risk for the progressive form of the disease by using a complete combination of the AMD genes and a patient's smoking history. Now, if somebody is found to be at high risk for the disease, we can tailor a treatment and monitoring program for that patient so that we'll see them on a more frequent basis. In the past, if somebody was diagnosed with early macular degeneration, we might say, well, you know, we'll see it once, maybe twice a year. Well, now, for those patients that we know are in the high-risk category, we might see them 3, maybe even 4 times per year and use some specialized testing to monitor them as well. We can also look at micronutrient supplement, which is something that we're finding to be very important to help support the macular tissue. That, in fact, I think we're going to come back next week and talk about those micronutrients with you.
I hope so, because I'm going to introduce you next week, and I'm hoping that you're going to be here. But what are micronutrients?
Well, we have pigments that are found in the back of the eye that help protect the tissue from damage from blue light. So in particular, they stop the oxidation that happens when sunlight or blue light hits the back of the eye.
As long as we're using a term like nutrient, it occurs to me that we've been told ever since we were kids that there's good complexion food, and there's brain food and hair food. Is there also eye food?
There is, and these, you know, everybody talks about beta-carotene, vitamin A, but it turns out that there are these specialized micronutrients, which we probably will go into more detail next time, and some of them are not found in the diet, so it's very important to supplement them when it's appropriate.
Okay, explain to me the DNA test and how it works.
So basically, you go see your eye doctor, you give the doctor a cheek swab, so it's very non-invasive. We send it out for testing, and it comes back with basically placing you in a risk category of how likely are you to progress to the advanced forms of AMD, such as the wet form, which is vision threatening. Based on the information we get, we can put you in a certain category of how often you should see your eye doctor, when should you see a retina specialist, and hopefully catch the disease before it progresses, and so that you can have early intervention.
And the reason for this test is because it is a genetic condition?
Yeah, AMD is primarily inherited. So now that we know that there's a way to look at one's DNA and determine which category of risk they are in, whether they're a low risk for progression or a high risk of progression, we can then get those patients in more frequently to monitor for the development of the wet disease. If somebody develops wet disease, we now have great treatments available through retinal specialists that, if used early, can save the eye from going blind, and in some cases even improve the vision over what it was.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Is it always inherited from one side or the other? I want to know who I should write out of my trust. So is there any kind of a consistent pattern?
The genetics are fairly complicated. Basically, at this point, we can just screen a specific person to see where their risk falls, because it's multiple genes, not just one. Again,
before we run out of time, is there any medication that I can use preventatively? Any kind of eye exercise?
There's no exercise. The medication basically is what we were talking about with the micronutrients. If you have the wet form of the disease, if you came in to see a retina specialist, that would be a series of treatments delivered by the retina specialist.
But again, the medication is as a result of the test that I get from my eye doctor,
Exactly.
Not something that I can start even before I know I'm a candidate.
I wouldn't recommend that, because it's very important to get a baseline examination before starting the treatments.
I guess one of the things that you can always come up with out of these conversations that we have weekly with these Arizona eye specialists is that you better see one. And you can probably find one that you can depend upon immediately by simply checking out that website. It's the easiest thing in the world, particularly if you can see the website on our screen. To make sure, pay attention when these eye doctors visit us on the McMahon Group. Stay with us.
Fly me to the moon.